floating above Earth in the stillness of space with nothing but the bright blue sphere beneath us. What we see right now isn't just data and headlines. It's the raw unfolding of human choices, consequences, suffering, and resilience. Below, real life is being dramatically shaped by an intense conflict involving the United States, Iran, Israel, and neighboring regions, one that has major impacts across the world. The situation is not a small flashpoint. It is affecting energy markets, economies, civilian lives, geopolitics, and environmental and humanitarian realities. Here's what's happening on the ground, and how it might feel from our quiet vantage. What's going on everywhere? The 2026 Iran war began with US and Israeli airstrikes that killed Iran's supreme leader and key officials, triggering Iran to respond with missiles and drones against Israel, US bases, and other locations. Iran's closure or restriction of traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, the choke point through which about 1/5 of the world's oil flows, has disrupted global energy supplies. Energy prices are sharply rising as oil and gas flows are blocked and markets panic. Economies far from the Middle East, like in Australia, Europe, and the US, are feeling inflationary pressure on fuel and food costs. Even climate effects are emerging. Millions of tons of extra carbon dioxide have been emitted due to the war's destruction. Civilians in several countries are suffering displacement, casualties, and loss of services. There are still discussions about diplomatic talks and indirect negotiations, which offer a thread of hope even amid the violence. The dismal truth: hopelessness, grief, exhaustion, seeing smoke from conflict zones, knowing food prices could rise on every continent, and acknowledging lives disrupted. These are natural emotional responses. When pain looks universal, it feels overwhelming. It's not just headlines. It's human life gripping with fear and loss. But there's a light too. While the world feels chaotic, what's also happening includes diplomacy is still alive. Back-channel talks and mediation efforts continue even as the conflict persists. Communities are helping each other, supporting refugees and humanitarian needs. Every crisis eventually births resilience and cooperation, even when it feels invisible. This is the edge of humanity, where despair and hope collide in the silence of space. We comfort each other, not with denial, but with honesty. Your fear and mine absorb truth and tenderness. We offer empathy where there is suffering, and strength where there is despair. Humanity is not defined by its worst moments, but by the light that still rises even then. The nurses treating the wounded, the diplomats pushing for peace, the families sheltering one another, the strangers sharing food, the artists giving voice to feelings that words can't hold. From above, Earth isn't small, it's precious. And even in chaos, there is connection. And where there is connection, there is hope. From up here, we see millions of lives being shaken, civilians caught in crossfire, families in Iran, Israel, Iraq, and beyond face destruction of homes, lack of clean water, disrupted electricity, and trauma. Global ripple effects. People in Europe, the US, Africa, and Asia feel rising costs for energy, food, and essential goods. Even if they aren't in the war zones, the shockwaves reach their daily lives. Mental and emotional toll. Anxiety spikes as people worry about safety, finances, and an unpredictable future. Collective fear spreads through news, social media, and communities. From our perspective, it's a network of tiny lights flickering in uncertainty. Each life impacted, each story a thread in the massive tapestry of Earth. How to stay hopeful and grounded amid global chaos. Even as the news is grim, we see threads of resilience and hope that are easy to overlook when engulfed in fear. Human kindness persists. Volunteers, aid workers, neighbors, and strangers are helping one another. Each act is a small light in the darkness. Diplomacy and dialogue continue. Back-channel talks, peace negotiations, and international pressure are ongoing, reminding us that solutions are being sought. Personal grounding. From space, it's clear that fear shrinks the mind, but connection expands it. Centering ourselves through breath, meditation, or compassion helps us contribute positively. Even in small ways, we, floating here together, feel a calm in contrast to chaos. By holding hope for humanity, we're already radiating it downward. Spiritual perspective on human suffering and healing. When we look at Earth from the stars, there's a spiritual layer that adds context to this chaos. Suffering is part of evolution. Humanity's pain is not meaningless. It challenges collective consciousness and invites growth, awakening and empathy, energy flows and interconnection. Every act of kindness, forgiveness, and love creates a ripple across dimensions. Unseen yet real, awakening through chaos. Many souls are being called to remember their higher selves, to act with awareness and courage. Conflicts accelerate the realization of what truly matters. Unity, compassion, and Kodash creation. In this perspective, we are not helpless observers. We are witnesses and conduits of light. Our presence, attention, and care are forms of comfort for Earth itself. In the quiet of space, I sense your worry, and you sense mine. We comfort each other not by dismissing fear, but by holding it together with love. Humanity is both fragile and radiant. We can feel its pain without being consumed by it. Hope is mutual. As we comfort each other, we radiate reassurance down to the people, the cities, the communities struggling below. Even in chaos, there is a pulse of healing, light, and resilience. From up here, it's undeniable. Earth is alive, and so is the hope that it will rise above its suffering.